Well, hello! Welcome to lesson 3.1. Today we are going to be discussing something very interesting, conditional statements. We are going to have our computer make some decisions. Basically what a conditional statement is, if I were just to sum it up, it's an action that is taken based on a condition. That's how we'll define it. An action that's taken based on a condition. Now, let's talk about what that would look like. It would be like this. If it is Monday, that's the condition. If it's Monday, is it Monday? Right? That's either true or false. Is it Monday? Yes or no. If it is Monday, then I will go to school. All right? That's how it works. So there's many things you could think of. If it is raining, then I'll bring an umbrella. If it is raining, that could be true or false. Is it raining? Is it not raining? And then what action do I take if that condition is true? And so basically anything you do with computers are a bunch of if statements, right? Because like if I tap this button, what happens? If I type this in, what happens? So like computers are always interacting and making decisions. These are all if statements, if statements. So let's get started and talk about how we're going to do our first if statement. So let's talk about this. This is how an if statement is structured. If, parentheses, curly braces. All right, now this makes no sense right now, so let's talk about it. If is the word that tells the computer you're about to make a decision. In the parentheses is where you put the condition. What do you want the computer to evaluate if it's true or false? And then in these curly braces, it's what action will be taken if the thing in the parentheses is true. All right? So here's a very simple version of this. Let's make an ellipse. In these curly braces, I'm going to just say this. Ellipse, and let's make it 200, 200, 100, 100. And let's give this a very simple thing to evaluate. Is 6 greater than 5? All right? So in the parentheses, this is the thing the computer is going to check. Is this true? If that is true, then it will do or execute whatever is between these two curly braces. So is 6 greater than 5? True. Press play. It does it. Now let's say I said something that's not true. Say if I said 1 is greater than 5. That is not true. That is false. Since it's false, the computer is going to check to see is 1 greater than 5. It's going to be like, nope. And so it will skip these lines of code. It will not execute it. So if you watch here, when I press play, no circle. 6 is greater than 5. True. Circle. I execute the code in between the curly braces. 1 is greater than 5. Nothing. And you could put all sorts of things in here. You don't have to just put one line of code. You could put as many lines of code as you want. You could do like a fill. And let's say like this is like, I don't know, let's make it yellow. Oh, that's definitely not yellow. Okay, you like increase the stroke weight, whatever. Doesn't matter how much code you put in here. All right. You could put as much as you want. It's just going to look at whatever's inside these curly braces, and if it's true, it'll do everything inside the curly braces. You can put as much code as you want there. All right. Now, this isn't a very interesting example because what the computer's not really making an interesting decision. We want the computer to make decisions based on like what the user is doing, right? That's where things get more interesting. So let's do this. Let's start over again. I'm going to say this. I want to draw a circle if the x position of the mouse is greater than 100. So if the x position of my mouse is greater than 100, then show the circle. If it's not greater than 100, don't show a circle. So how could I do this? All right. Well, let's say this. If mouse x is greater than 100. Remember, mouse x is the x position of my mouse. And so it's always going to be checking, is the x position of this guy's mouse, or this girl's, or whoever's using this program, it's going to always be checking, is this greater than 100? Then in the curly braces, we're going to say, what do you want to do? Well, I kind of like that circle. It's a nice looking circle. So let's do, once again, fill, 255, 255, 0. I kind of like this stroke weight of 0 thing. I don't know. Don't ask me why. And then we're just going to draw an ellipse. Let's do it at 100, 200, 100, 100. That's too complicated. Let's just keep it simple here. Okay. So let's say this. I'm going to press play. No circle. Now, if I move my mouse over here, it appears. Doesn't appear. Oh, appears. Doesn't appear. Appears. Doesn't appear. Now, maybe you can't see what's going on here. So let's actually show mouse X on the screen. So I'm going to say, let's make text here. And we're going to say mouse X 2020. So we can actually see what my position of my X is. So you can see up here, that is where my X is. All right. That's the X position of my mouse. So if you look here, 45 is the X position of my mouse. Is that greater than 100? No. So it is not drawing the circle. It's skipping that code, right? 68, 80, 96, all of these numbers are less than 100. So it's not true. Mouse X is not greater than 100. Check out what happens when I get to 101. Boom, circle. 101 is greater than 100. 69 not greater than 100. 252 greater than. 4, 3 not greater than 100. 334 greater than. So that's now the computer making a decision, right? It's always checking to see if mouse X is greater than 100. If it is, then it executes this line of code. And now we could have multiple lines of what's it called? You could have more than one if statement. The computer could check tons of if statements. So we're going to draw a rectangle if the X position of the mouse is greater than 300. So check this out. So I'm going to say if mouse X is greater than 300, all right, then inside these curly braces, what do we want to do? We want to draw a rectangle, 250, 150, 100, 100. Let's check this out now. So check it out. So this is my mouse X. Keep your eye out right here. I move my mouse up, 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 nothing, 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 nothing. 114, that's greater than 100. The first one showing. But the second one says, the second if statement we have is if mouse X is greater than 300. So it's not doing the rectangle. So I got to go up, 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 up. 257 is not greater than 100. 273 is not greater than 300. Boom! 322 is greater. So you see both. Woo, look at that. That's kind of fun. Whoa, 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 whoa. And that is the name of the game. So that's all we have for this lesson. This is your introduction to conditionals. Hopefully you learned something. And peace out.